All right, so you're aiming for that assistant project manager position.
That's awesome.
But then comes the interview, right?
Right.
Don't worry, though.
Yeah.
That's why we have a deep dive today all lined up for you.
Oh, cool.
We're going way beyond, like, the usual top 10 interview questions.
Okay.
We're digging into what those hiring managers really want to hear when they ask you those basic questions.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to figure out, can you actually walk the walk?
Exactly.
Not just talk the talk.
It's about strategy.
Right.
We're using Indeed.com's list as a jumping off point,
Okay.
but we're going deeper.
Got it.
This is not about memorizing lines. It's about understanding, like, the thought process behind each question.
The strategy.
Yes, the strategy, and how to make your answers just shine. Okay, first one.
Okay.
What skills does a good project manager need?
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
Everyone's going to say the same things, right?
But this is your chance from the very beginning to set the tone.
And show that you're not just, spitting out buzzwords.
Right, right.
You've got to, like, go beyond that.
Absolutely. So you're going to want to, obviously hit on all the main points: organization, flexibility, leadership, communication. But, I mean, anybody can say, I'm organized.
Right.
You have to be able to demonstrate that.
Show it, yeah.
So, like, think about a time on a project where things maybe went a little sideways.
Okay.
And how did you use your organizational skills to get back on track?
Ooh, okay. Like that time I had to organize this conference.
Okay.
And the venue double booked us.
Oh, my gosh.
Like a week before the conference.
Yeah.
It was pure chaos. But I just pulled out my color-coded spreadsheets. I found a new location. And I managed to, like, keep everybody informed. And I didn't even lose my cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Because it shows, like, you're able to solve problems, you're organized.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's say the interviewer asks about monitoring progress and costs. Now, you might not have, like, been CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
But you've done something.
Well, yeah, and even, like, a bake sale has a budget, right?
Exactly.
You better believe I was tracking those ingredient costs and sales super carefully.
Oh, yeah.
To, really get the most profit for our club fundraiser.
Awesome.
It's about showing those principles even on a, on a small scale.
Exactly. Exactly. And quantify your impact.
Ooh. Oh,
so instead of just saying, like, oh, I managed the budget, you could say something like, by carefully tracking expenses, we raised 25% more than the previous year.
Oh, that's way better.
Right.
Much better.
It sounds a lot more impressive. Now, another really common question these days is, like, about remote work and communication. Because a lot of hiring managers are like, okay, you're going to be working remotely, but how do I know you're actually going to be working?
Right. You're not going to just, like, disappear.
Exactly.
Ghost.
So you got to be a pro with all those tools like, Slack, Zoom, Asana. But it's more than just, like, rattling off those names, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's about, like, being able to use them effectively to collaborate with your team.
Yeah.
And actually hit those project goals.
Okay.
So, for example, you could say, in my last role, I used Asana to create a custom workflow for our remote team. And it let us keep track of our progress, share feedback, hit our deadlines, even when we were all in different time zones.
So it's showing that you're not just, like, clicking around.
Exactly.
You know what you're doing.
You have a strategy.
Yeah. Okay, now what about leadership? What if you haven't actually officially managed a team before?
Okay. So this is where you really want to show you've got that initiative and leadership potential. So think about those times when you stepped up, even if you didn't have that, like, official title, right? Maybe you led a group project,
right.
Or, you mentored a new team member, or you saw a project that was kind of in trouble and you jumped in and took charge.
Ooh. This reminds me of this one project. The team lead had to, like, take leave really unexpectedly.
Oh, my gosh.
And I volunteered to step in.
Awesome.
And I organized these daily check-ins and delegated tasks. And we stayed on track. It wasn't official management or anything.
Right.
But it showed that I could handle that responsibility.
Exactly. You took the initiative, you demonstrated your leadership skills, and you kept the project moving forward. Now, there's this one question that, like, can really make or break you in an interview.
Okay, which one?
It's, tell me about a time where you really had to use your time management skills.
Ooh, story time.
Right.
Everybody loves a good story.
But, with this one, you can't just, like, talk about how you juggle deadlines.
Right, right.
You got to pick a situation where, things were high stakes. Maybe you had to deal with, like, unexpected roadblocks.
Oh, yeah, or, like, conflicting priorities.
Exactly. And then you want to explain the situation, what you did to manage your time, and the result, of course.
And the result, right?
And like bonus points if you can tie it back to, some key project management skill.
Gotcha.
So for instance, you could say something like, I was, managing this website redesign and the client kept like changing the scope.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right.
I hate that.
So, I implemented this whole change management process. I renegotiated deadlines and kept the project on track without, sacrificing quality.
Wow. That's a good one.
Right.
That's impressive.
You show that you can adapt, you can communicate, you can deal with scope creep,
Yeah.
which is like a project manager's worst nightmare.
Oh, it is. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about credentials. What if they ask about, like, professional qualifications or certificates? You've got to be honest there, right?
Right. Honesty is key.
But what if you're still working on those certifications?
So it's all about showing you're committed to professional growth.
Okay.
Right. So even if you don't have a PMP yet, you could say something like, I'm actually preparing for the KPM exam right now. Or, I recently took this Agile Methodology course to, further develop my skills.
Okay, so it's about, like, showing you're eager to learn.
Exactly.
Even if you haven't, gotten all the official stuff yet.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's kind of similar, right? Like, how do you answer that question about, like, improving your project management skills over the past year?
Right. So it's all about continuous learning.
Yeah.
Have you read any, industry books, listened to any podcasts like this one maybe?
Wink, wink.
Taken any online courses, give them some specific examples. It shows you're proactive, you're dedicated to like staying ahead of the game.
So it's not just about what you know right now.
Exactly.
It's about that willingness to keep learning and evolving.
Yes. The growth mindset.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is a question that I think really tests, like, your empathy.
Okay.
What guarantees successful training and project onboarding?
Ooh, good one.
Right, it's about understanding things from that newbie perspective.
Right.
Think back to when you were new.
Yeah.
What made it easier for you?
Right. So was it like, having really clear documentation, or was there like a buddy system, regular check-ins? Talk about those things. It shows that you've got that empathy, which is like, such a good quality for a leader.
When I started my last job, they had this awesome onboarding portal online.
Oh, nice.
With videos and, like, FAQs.
Mm.
And they even had this who's who with, like, pictures of everybody on the team.
Oh, that's nice.
It made me feel so much less lost, starting in a new place.
That's a great example. It shows that you get how important it is to make those new team members feel welcome and, like, supported.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, like, key to successful project leadership.
Okay, deep breaths, everybody. Time for that jargon-heavy question.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the project management approaches you've worked with.
Don't get intimidated by all that terminology.
Yeah.
Okay? Just mention some of those common methodologies like Agile, Waterfall, Lean, Six Sigma. Even if you don't have like tons of experience, just focus on explaining the main idea of each one,
Okay.
and how it can help projects.
But it's not just about, like, repeating the definitions from a textbook, right?
Right.
It's about showing you actually apply them, even if it was on a smaller scale.
Exactly. So you could say something like, in my previous role, we used parts of the Agile methodology to like break down this big marketing campaign into smaller sprints.
Okay.
And that let us be more flexible. We could adapt to the client's feedback, and we delivered value much faster.
Okay, so even if you haven't, like, led this huge full Agile transformation,
Right.
you can still show that you get the principles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's reassuring. And finally, the tools question. What project management tools are you familiar with?
All right. Honesty is super important here.
Yeah.
List out those tools you've actually used, but don't just drop the names,
Okay.
right? You got to explain how you use them to like get stuff done.
So instead of saying, I've used Trello, it's more like, I use Trello to, like, manage all the tasks and deadlines for our social media calendar, which made sure we were consistent, and we actually boosted engagement by 15%.
Exactly.
Wow.
You're showing that you're not just like a tourist, right?
No, I'm a local.
You live in those tools and you know how to use them to get things done.
That's what they want to see.
Exactly. That's what really impresses them.
Awesome. I feel like we're really getting into the heads of these hiring managers,
Yeah.
figuring out what they're really looking for.
Yeah.
This is good.
It's all about like strategy.
Strategy. So we've talked about how to show off your experience with those like must-have project management tools.
Right.
It's not just, knowing the names.
Yeah.
It's about actually being able to like paint that picture of
Yeah.
how you've used them to get real results.
Like, it's the difference between saying, oh, I have a toolbox, and, actually building something amazing with it.
I love that
Right.
these interview questions, they're all about like
Yeah.
giving the hiring manager that little peek
Mm-hmm.
into your potential as an assistant project manager, right?
Exactly.
It's about showing that you grasp the core principles,
Yeah.
your genuine enthusiasm for the field,
Mm-hmm.
and that all-important ability to like learn and grow.
That's huge.
Yeah. And remember, an interview is a two-way street, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a chance for you to learn more about the company,
Yeah.
the team, the specific projects you'd be involved in.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask thoughtful questions. you know.
Right. Right.
It shows you're engaged, genuinely interested.
It shows you did your homework.
Exactly. Asking insightful questions can really like make you stand out.
Oh.
It shows that curiosity, that initiative.
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of questions would you recommend asking in like an assistant project manager interview?
Instead of like focusing on the day-to-day,
Yeah.
think bigger picture.
Okay.
Ask about the company's overall project management approach,
Mm-hmm.
the types of projects they typically handle, the team structure.
Okay.
You could even ask about professional development opportunities within the company.
I see. So it's about showing that you're like invested in the company's success,
Mhm.
not just like your own individual role, right? It's
Mhm.
about being a team player,
Absolutely.
which is so important in like any project management environment.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And speaking of teams, communication has got to be like one of the most key skills for an assistant project manager. Right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You're going to be interacting with all sorts of people, project managers, team members, stakeholders, clients.
Right.
So you got to be able to communicate clearly, effectively, and professionally, both verbally and in writing.
Well, for sure.
And that includes being a good listener, right?
Oh, yeah, huge.
Being able to truly understand different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
gather all the necessary information, and like build consensus among the team.
Yeah, active listening is like crucial. It's
Yeah.
how you build those relationships. You avoid misunderstandings and make sure everyone's like truly on the same page.
Absolutely. And let's not forget problem solving.
Right.
Projects rarely go exactly according to plan.
Never.
So being able to like anticipate those challenges,
Mhm.
identify solutions, and make decisions under pressure is like essential.
Right. Hiring managers want to know you can think on your feet,
Yeah.
adapt to those changing circumstances,
Hmm.
and find those creative solutions.
So how can someone best demonstrate those problem-solving skills during an interview, do you think?
A really good strategy is to use what's called the STAR method.
Okay.
It stands for situation, task, action, result. So you describe a specific situation where you faced a challenge,
Mhm.
explain the task you needed to accomplish,
Right.
outline the actions you took to address the problem,
Okay.
and then highlight the positive result.
Got it. So instead of just saying, I'm a good problem solver,
Mhm.
tell a story that really shows it.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, how about risk management?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's another important aspect of project management, right?
Absolutely. It's essential to be able to identify those potential risks,
Mm-hmm.
realistically assess their impact,
Okay.
and then proactively develop those mitigation strategies.
Yeah.
They want to know you can like spot those problems before they even happen.
Right. Get ahead of it.
And like minimize any negative effects on the project.
So how can you like showcase your risk management skills effectively in an interview?
Storytelling is really key here too.
Okay.
Think of a time when you saw a potential risk coming,
Mm.
assessed how likely it was to happen and what the impact would be. And then you took steps to like mitigate it.
Okay.
So for example, you could say, in a previous project, we realized one of our key vendors was falling behind schedule.
Oh, no.
Right. So I proactively contacted the vendor, explored alternative options, and developed a contingency plan in case the delays continued.
Wow.
And this helped us avoid major disruptions to the project timeline.
That's great. It shows you're not just reacting to problems,
Right.
but anticipating them
Mm-hmm.
and taking steps to prevent them from like totally derailing the project.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about another crucial skill for assistant project manager's
Okay.
organization.
Oh, yeah. That's the foundation of good project management. You'll
Right.
be juggling multiple tasks, deadlines, priorities.
Mm.
So being organized, detail-oriented, and able to manage your time well, it's crucial.
So how can you convince the hiring manager that you're like the organizational whiz they've been searching for?
Don't just tell them, show them,
Okay.
right? Use concrete examples from your past experience.
Right.
Describe how you use specific tools and techniques to stay organized, like calendars, to-do lists, project management software.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as like a consistent file naming convention.
Ooh, I like that.
Highlight your attention to detail, your ability to prioritize tasks effectively, and your track record of meeting deadlines.
It's like giving them a sneak peek into your organizational superpower.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about adaptability.
Okay.
The world of project management is constantly changing, right?
Oh, yeah. Always evolving.
So being able to learn and adapt is essential.
Absolutely. The ability to embrace new methodologies, explore new technologies, be open to feedback. It's crucial.
So how can you demonstrate that willingness to learn and grow in an interview setting?
Highlight your commitment to continuous professional development.
Yeah.
Mention any courses you've taken, certifications you're pursuing, industry events you've attended.
Mm.
You could even share examples of times when you actively sought out feedback, learned from your mistakes, or adapted to new challenges.
So it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about having that growth mindset
Exactly.
and showing you're eager to learn and evolve.
Yeah, that's what they want to see.
And let's not forget about another important quality for any aspiring assistant project manager:
Okay, what's that?
enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Enthusiasm is contagious.
For sure.
Let your passion for project management shine through.
Yeah.
Share your excitement about the field, the challenges, the opportunities.
It's about showing you're not just looking for a job,
Right.
but a career.
Exactly. A career path that you can truly be passionate about.
Right.
That passion is going to make you a more engaged, dedicated, and successful team member.
Absolutely.
Now, let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about a specific type of interview question that can sometimes, trip people up.
Okay.
The behavioral question.
Oh, yeah, those are tricky.
So behavioral questions, they're designed to assess your past behavior
Mm-hmm.
as a predictor of your future performance.
Right. Yeah.
They typically start with phrases like, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of.
Yeah, those are the classic ones.
So how can you best prepare for these kinds of questions?
The key is to think back on your experiences
Okay.
and identify specific examples that show off the skills and qualities they're looking for,
Mm.
and then practice telling those stories,
Right.
concisely and compellingly using that STAR method we talked about.
Right. Having those stories ready to go can definitely boost your confidence during the interview.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, let's talk about another important element of the interview process.
Okay.
Body language.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Nonverbal communication can often speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
It's important to project confidence, professionalism, and engagement
Mm-hmm.
through your posture, eye contact, and facial expressions.
All of it.
So what are some specific tips for using body language to your advantage?
Make direct eye contact with the interviewer.
Okay.
Sit up straight, smile genuinely, nod to show you're listening,
Okay.
and avoid things like fidgeting, crossing your arms, or slouching.
Okay.
Those can, make you seem disengaged or lacking in confidence.
Got it. So it's all about being present, attentive, and engaged in the conversation.
Exactly.
And speaking of engagement, let's talk about asking thoughtful questions.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that earlier.
It's a crucial part of any successful interview, right?
Absolutely. It shows your curiosity, your initiative, your genuine interest.
So what are some key questions you should always have ready to go?
You could ask about the company culture, their core values, their vision for the future,
Mm.
or their specific approach to project management.
Okay.
You can also ask about the projects you'd be working on, the team structure, opportunities for professional development.
So it's about showing you've done your research,
Right.
you're thinking critically,
Mm-hmm.
and you're truly interested in becoming part of their team.
Exactly. And remember, the interview is also a chance for you to see if they're a good fit for you.
That's true.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask tough questions and get the information you need.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street.
Now let's talk about another important part of the interview process.
Yeah.
Following up
Right.
the thank you note.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
Always send a thank you note.
Absolutely. Within 24 hours of the interview,
Okay.
it's just common courtesy and it reinforces your interest in the position.
So, what are the key things to include in a thank you note?
Um, you want to reiterate your enthusiasm for the role,
Mm.
briefly highlight your qualifications,
Okay.
and express your eagerness to learn more.
Mm.
You can also mention something specific you discussed during the interview
Okay.
to make it more personal and memorable.
So it's all about making a positive, lasting impression and
Yes,
reminding them why you're the ideal candidate.
exactly.
And finally, some age-old wisdom that applies to any interview situation.
Okay.
Be yourself.
Oh, yeah, authenticity is key.
Don't try to be someone you're not. Let your personality, your passion, your unique skills shine through.
That's what they want to see.
It's about finding a company that values you for who you are
Mm,
and a role that truly aligns with your strengths and your aspirations.
exactly.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been covering so much ground today,
Yeah, lots to unpack.
getting you prepped for that assistant project manager interview. We've talked about showing off your skills, asking good questions, even how your body language matters.
Right. It all plays a part.
But there's one more thing we got to talk about:
Okay, what's that?
mindset.
Oh, mindset. That's huge.
So it's not just about what you say, but how you approach the whole interview, right?
Absolutely. Your mindset makes a big difference in how you present yourself,
Yeah.
how you handle those tough questions, and how well you connect with the hiring manager.
Okay, so how do we get that positive, confident mindset before we even walk in? Any tips?
Well, first, remember you've already gotten pretty far. Just by getting to the interview stage, your resume, the phone screening, you impressed them enough to get here.
That's true. It's easy to forget that when you're nervous.
Right. Celebrate those little wins along the way. It helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Second, try changing your perspective. Instead of seeing it as a test you have to pass, think of it as a conversation, a chance to talk about your experience, your skills, what you love about project management.
Ooh, I like that. It takes the pressure off.
Right. It's a two-way street. And third, focus on your strengths. We all have things we're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
So what are those skills and accomplishments you're most proud of? Be ready to talk about those.
So own your expertise and let that confidence show. Okay, now let's talk about something a little awkward. Salary.
Yeah, that always comes up. Do your research beforehand, look up industry standards, have a realistic range in mind, and then be prepared to discuss it professionally.
Any strategies for that part? So I don't just freeze up.
Instead of just saying a number, try talking about the value you bring. You could say, based on my experience with whatever your experience is and my track record of achieving whatever you achieved, I'm looking for something between. Give a range. I know I can make a real contribution, and I'm excited to see how my skills can help you reach your goals.
So highlight what you're worth and connect it back to what the company needs. Good advice. Now, for the classic, advice. Practice, practice, practice.
It's true though, right? The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll be.
What's the best way to practice? Should I be reciting lines in the mirror?
Not exactly. It's good to have an idea of what you want to say, but you don't want to sound like a robot. Practice answering those typical interview questions out loud, maybe with a friend, or even record yourself.
Ooh, recording is a good idea. You can catch those nervous habits you don't even realize you're doing.
Exactly. Remember, you're not trying to memorize a script. You just want to feel good talking about yourself and your goals in a natural way.
Find your voice and let your personality show. Great advice. We've covered a lot today. From the ins and outs of being an assistant project manager to those tricky interview questions and even how to get the right mindset.
We've given you the tools to approach your interview feeling confident and ready.
Remember, it's a chance to show off your skills, what you're passionate about, and what you can bring to the table. Be prepared, be confident, be yourself, and most importantly,
Have fun. Project management is a field full of cool challenges and rewarding moments.
thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We wish you all the best in your job search.